Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, the Lost Valerio. Welcome back to another writing session. We are having it today because I couldn't do it last time. I couldn't do the previous days, but welcome. Welcome. Let me just put that Discord thing because I didn't do that. Let me just put a Discord notification. Hello, Savage. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for coming. Hello. Hello, Savage. How are you doing? How are you doing? Let's do this, and this, and that, and that, and this, and that, and that, and this. And everything should be ready. Yes, it is. Great. Okay, let's just go to the other tab and open the mission and pick this one up. Hello, Saturn Kara, welcome. I have a question, Kara. This is the team that you actually vote on, or it was the other one? Just tell me. The next one is going to be the horror one, or well, I will actually submit it to both. Now that we have 5 members, at least I guess we can't tie. Maybe we will, probably. Oh my. Oh, it was great. And so we're gonna write today about. We have a feeling we will. Probably we will. We're gonna type. I'm pretty sure of it. We're gonna be 2 votes and 2 votes, and the 5th one is gonna be like nowhere to be found. That's gonna be fun indeed. Sup, Brian P, welcome to the stream. Okay. So, how is your day, everyone? How are you feeling? How are you all feeling? How was your day? Everything is fine over there. Tell me. There we go, and now let's do this, and we are live. There we go. Very tired. Oh, I see. Well, at least you're doing exercise, which is exactly what you need to do in order to keep yourself healthy. Oh, great. Oh, I love it. Give it to me. Yes, Brian, give it to me. Yes. Yes. Say yes. Very well. Very well. We're gonna see this once we have done it. Brian P, do you want to? I want to know. You're feeling alive this today? I see. I want to know. Do you want me to show this on stream, or do you rather have it like a private? Well, not private. You know what I mean? It's like a. Like I'm not going to show it on stream what you write, but if you want, we can show it as you prefer. As you prefer. Sure, okay, let me then put it into this tab. That is the one that we are sharing right now. Let me just put it over here, but we're gonna talk about it later in the end. Anyway, this is gonna be an hour long. I don't think it's gonna be like a long stream, so don't worry about that. So, first come first. Don't worry about that. Everybody has their own style. So, okay, let me just like. Oh, my back. Everything's nice. Okay, so. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to know. Tell me. What is history? First, you tell me, what is history? What do you know about history as a genre? Hello, Bones, welcome to the stream. What do you know about history as a genre? Okay. As a genre, in this case, of history as scientific knowledge, because that's what it is. Okay, I'm a historian. I know what I know. I know what I'm talking about. Well, this is new. Look at that. Well, weird. Am I even my grammar? Am I right? This is weird. Why does it look like this? I'm so confused. It's what? Why is it not saying to me like... What is happening? No, I have like free account. Yeah, everything's fine. Oh, I doxed my name over there. Oh no, what a shame. It's not like I have actually say it someone on stream anymore. Wait, did it show up? I think it didn't show up. I'm not sure. Well, let's see what it has over here. History is me, probably. History is a story of man. Okay, educational. Uh-huh. It's a pretty sick flip. What do you mean by that? You mean like... in the bike? History is the story of man. Yes, indeed. History, I will say, let me write it like that. History is human-made knowledge. Let me just put you up to speed because, like I say, I'm studying this, so that it's human-made knowledge, not created by laws. Not only that, by laws I mean like by laws of nature per se, and not only that, so you can know something else. Not created by laws per se, but without humanity to record/remember it or discover it, it will simply not exist. Just like that. Oh, he's skate. I see what you mean. And yes, it's educational. And I'm going to ask you this then, Bones, because I want you to actually explain a little more about that fact. How is history educational? What does it provide you or others in your day-to-day life? What does it do? What is the thing? What is the thing? Tell me. And even if you're saying that, Satumkara, because it's funny, I'm gonna say something about this. History, okay? History. Because you say about the sick skateboard that made history. Indeed, that's actually important, believe it or not. Because history is the exaltation of certain events/conditions over others in a time period. In this case, Satumkara, you're sick skateboard. You're sick skateboard. Get it? Your sick flip of Kara made history. You get it? You get to use it, okay. Hi Danny, welcome to the stream. Weren't you in class? Section because it allows to improve upon what was already learned, and so we don't make the same mistakes. So you believe that history is a tool to improve the future or prevent bad things for quote-unquote repeating, which is really interesting indeed. Oh, Danny has cancelled a message. That's weird. Oh my god. So that's what Savage is saying right now. Savage says this. Savage says that history is a tool to improve the future or prevent bad things from repeating. Very well. From repeating. Sorry about that. Very well, very well, very well. That's great. And, of course, Kara says... And let me go like this. This is myself, yeah. Educational, yeah. Educational, this is Bones. Let me just put like... by the way, I'm going to upload every single thing I'm writing in these sessions. I have them all saved here on my Grammarly. I'm going to download them as PDFs, and I'm going to share them in the Discord server for everyone to access if they need to. And also, if they want, they can make questions or whatever they want, and I will gladly answer every single one of you in Discord via private message or the regular forum. I'm open to messages, by the way, so don't worry about that. I will answer every single one of you. Don't worry. And now, this document should be history as a source of inspiration. Very well. So we do that, and according to Kara, history is a tool to basically be so to use in discussions and win arguments based on past events that in a sense have are the root of today's situations and thus explains the present. This is Kara. Indeed. I sense. Oh, god damn it. Luckily I have this beautiful tool that is Grammarly. By the way, acquire Grammarly is amazing. I'm not here, but I keep the figure. Thank you, thank you. So we have all of this, which is amazing. I love your explanations on what history is. And now let me ask you another question, okay? So I will ask you this, okay? And you're gonna answer this. Is fiction a retelling of history in a different setting and time? That is a question. But thinking broadly, not only in a sense of, okay, hear me out, not only in a sense of, like, let's say, quote-unquote, important events, but also day to day life, like your personal history or the history of others. What do you think about that? What do you think about that? What do you think about this one? Now, this is another question that I'm going to do while you answer the previous one. Is there any non-history created out there? Non-history inspired created out there. That's a good one. Yep, personal experiences counts. Indeed it does. Indeed it does, Kara. Indeed it does. Define non-history. Basically something out of humanity. So non-history should be something beyond our senses of space, time, and narrative, and basically like retelling of past events. Retelling. Space-time. It's like a weird concept if you think about it. If you think about it, every single thing is history. The pure fiction, does it exist? Is there something as pure fiction? Does something as pure fiction really exist? Savage. See? Think about it. Is there anything you can think of that is actually like that? that is detached of what makes us human. Pure fiction in all its glory. And I could actually tell you that there is, but you wouldn't find it necessarily entertaining. But in fiction, is there something as pure fiction? Like pure fiction in the sense that there is nothing you can trace it back to. Why do you think that Acid Trips emulator will be that? Tell me. Aren't there like a lot of histories and other things that actually talks about the basically, let's say, the high some characters across history actually got because of drugs? What, do you think that those exist? Let me show you one then. Let me show you one. Let me go immediately into one of them. Let me look it up real quick. Herodotus and I can't really think of one at the moment. That's because you can't necessarily, but I will tell you now. Now let me show you something. Herodotus and the what was the name of this place? God damn it. Herodotus, by the way, wrote what we could call the first history textbook, okay? The first history is the big book, okay? It's the giant book. I have it over here, I believe, in the computer because I can't find a copy for the life of me on physical format because it's that big. But it's basically the very first. The very freaking first. Where is it? I know I have it somewhere around here. Come on. Should be here somewhere. Come on. Herodotus. No, there's a lot of this. No. I'm looking for Herodotus. Come on. No. Let me look it up. Just give me a second. This is Exakimov. No, this is not the place. Where do I have this book? God damn it. But there is a passageway in one of in Herodotus' book. What am I saying? One of Herodotus' book, where basically he shows you people who get high. He actually records that in the mountains. I don't remember. I believe it was Anatolia, where he actually tells us about some people that burn some leaves into the fire. They get like they are drinking wine. That's what he says basically. So you have there some drugs. Super fun. But everything has been written. So is there anything? And I think everybody there is actually like thinking a lot harder than they should. But let's go for the first question first, okay? And try to answer this. Is fiction a retelling of story in a different setting and time? Is it? Yes or no? Yes or no question. Come on. Yes or no? Well, you can elaborate if you want, but is it or is not? Is fiction just the retelling of real life stories, but in a different sense? Yes, perfect. Yes, indeed it is. Indeed it is. Very well. Yes, it is. For example, let's talk about one. Let's talk about Star Wars. Star Wars. Have you ever seen Star Wars? Anyone over here? Like Star Wars, in a sense. Star Wars is the retelling of the fall of the Roman Republic. It is that, just with a little bit of like that. Star Wars is basically why did I put Star Wars like this? Like this. So yes, it is. Star Wars is the return of the fall of the Roman Republic. Restoration of it. This is where the history takes a detour. I believe it's really like this. No, it's not like that, but doesn't matter. But that's the thing. Detour, there we go. Restoration of it. History takes a detour here. because the Republic was never restored. And then you have the next. Star Trek is a retelling of the modern era and the voyages of exploration. That's what it is. Obviously, with a lot of fiction in the mix, but that's how it goes. Obviously, with big enemies and stuff, but that's it. That's basically it. Obviously, it's also it is how we say, like, inspired by the Cold War. Like taking the Cold War, but we have more space. That's basically like it. That's how it works. There, we have this. For example, we put two of the big ones that are science fiction. Now, let's go to this one. Is there any non-history inspired how do you say this, novel slash game slash movie created out there? Does something as pure fiction really exist? That's the question that I have. And I will tell you, it does, and at the same time, it doesn't. It's like a sort of like a weird thing. How to Train Your Dragon. How to Train Your Dragon is a retelling of the basically Viking culture. That's what it is, just with a little spin on it. But it's Vikings. That's part of history. They didn't create a new culture or anything. They just added dragons into the mist. Yeah, How to Train Your Dragon. I know the trade. Fair enough. But that's what it is. How to Train Your Dragon is history, but with a spin. It doesn't necessarily have like a lot of history elements, like characters and stuff, but it does have the real counterpart of those are Vikings. And if I'm not mistaken, they actually call themselves Vikings, so they're Vikings. They're from Scandinavia. Just add dragons into the mix, add the fantastical element, and you have another thing entirely. Warrior Cats. What, you think that Warrior Cats is not inspired, is pure fiction? Why? Warrior Cats is basically a struggle between and it's not anthropomorphic, but it's a fable. The Mount Incident, I don't know what the Mount Incident is, but Warrior Cats is basically humanity through basically cats, in a sense. That's what it is. You can't disassociate humanity for anything. We are there. There's nothing as pure fiction. Cats don't actually do those things, but humans do. So history, they actually all inspired by that. I see, Brian B. So, do you realize? There is nothing as pure fiction. In order to have something that will be pure fiction, like the purest form of fiction, that you can have a movie, novel, or game with little inspiration of history, but there is not 0% history, indeed. But there is actually something that we could say pure fiction, but it's not fun. This is pure fiction, for example. Listen, this is pure fiction. And at the same time, it's not. It isn't. If we put history in broader terms, but the thing is that pure fiction doesn't exist unless I do this. There you go. There you have the pure fiction. There you have the pure fiction. You want more pure fiction? There you go. Another pure fiction. Completely fictional. Just completely fictional. See what I mean? I know I'm a demon, I know. Let me fix that. What the frick happened? I know I just starry eyes too. Let me just fix that real quick. Thank you. And I'm angry. Let's fix that. There we go. But there you go. You have their pure fiction. This is I'm cutting the stream already. It is here. There you have the pure fiction thing. But does it tell a story? No. Does it make you feel anything? No. I made 7 yesterday. Oh my god. But see, there is something like a pure fiction out there, in the sense of like not related to anything human. But is it fun for you? No, it's not. There is not, actually. There is not pure fiction. There is, however, pure data. It's something. Pure data, you can use it, but it's not fun. Everything else made for entertaining or introspective purposes can't is unable to dissociate from history and human behavior. Even the crazy ones. Even the crazy ones. Everything. Everything is history. Everything is history. Absolutely everything is history. There's nothing that isn't. Except for pure data. Pure data will be to say something like how much light does the sun creates, and you can even like tweak that number, and there you have a pure fiction. Like dissociated for humanity. It will be like saying like the sun creates something different, but at the same time it's not the same. It's not the same. It's difficult to actually create a pure fiction because we cannot dissociate from being human. Being human is such is something that we live in. We live in our brain. We cannot change that fact. It's all history, always has been. Indeed, everything is all history. Everything is all history in a sense. Everything is history. Everything is history. All is history. Always has been indeed. That will be the meme for this one. Everything is history. Narnia, history. Something else, history. Everything is history. Everything is what we were and what we are. And what we might become. And we cannot stray from that path of thought. We cannot create a completely alien concept. Just like we can't create a color. You can't imagine a new color. Nobody can. Because our brains are just not that, prepared for that. We cannot create a color out of space. We cannot create something that we don't understand. We cannot create something incredible like fictional. That's why every single creature that, for example, Lovecraft created, every single deity like Cthulhu and stuff, yeah, he tells us in our own words that the creature is undescribable, but that is enough to describe it. And you can actually take a sense of it, and you can actually imagine it, and you can actually put a face to it, in this case a squid, and stuff like that. And the result is that the creature is no longer undescribable. And its effects are actually something that we understand. So there it is. Everything is like big. Everything is history and personal experience and what we fear and what we want. Everything. Everything is history. Everything is history. the history of characters long past, the history of characters living today, the history of characters that will live tomorrow. Everything is history in a sense. Every single thing is history. And there is no pure fiction because of it. Pure fiction doesn't exist. That's why if you study history, you will start to see the pattern of, in fiction, of the retelling of history constantly through different lenses, to different people. And that is what enriches story. If you know a lot of history, if you study history, you will be able to really use that potential of our collective knowledge that we were so keen and so, let's say, precise to store and to investigate and to take out to the light again. The history of the rebels against an empire, the history of the empire against the rebels, the history of a good empire, of a bad empire, all of those are either based on real events or they are an exaggeration of real events. And everything is history, always has been. Always has been. Every single thing. Dune, history. Tolkien, history. Freaking everything else, history. Everything is based on history. Even if you create your own history, your history will be based in a real history. Even if you don't know it, you might have heard it somewhere. The only way to create like a pure fiction, it will be to be completely isolated to the point of not being able to absorb any kind of knowledge and only being with your own thoughts. But how would you be able to create thoughts if you never learn a language? If you never learn a language, you will be just an animal, and if you're just an animal, you're unable to create art consciously, because there are some animals that create beautiful things of art, but that is on the eye of the beholder, so us. When we see the fishes under the sea that creates intricate patterns in the sand, we see them as art, but we see them as art, the fish doesn't. The fish sees it as a way to attract a mate. And the perfect they do the circle, the better the mate will be. And they don't have a sense of conservation of that. Once the deed is done, the whole is forgotten and the whole thing will just fade away. We, on the other hand, we create something artistic, we tend to preserve it as long as we can. See, it's a lot of things that separates us from everything else. And we cannot disassociate, we cannot, that word, from that. So everything is history and always has been. Everything we do is inspired in history. Everything is inspired in our own experiences as humanity, as a human race, as people living in this piece of rock. And that's just incredible to think about it. So, what is my big recommendation for all of this? What is my big recommendation for all of this? Is basically this thing. Read history books if you want to create a new world of any genre, okay? Genre, any genre. You want to create something? Read the real history of the things. Read everything in order for you to be able to diverge or take inspiration or even take it as granted. You want to create let's say you want to create the tale of a merchant in ancient times? Well, read about it. Read about them. You want to create a tale of a knight? Read about knights. You want to create the tale of a peasant? Read about them. You understand? You want to create the story of a capitalist CEO? Read about them. That's how you do it. In any setting, you want to put this in a fantasy setting, read about it in our own records. You want to do it, everything, just read it. Your tale will be enriched by our collective knowledge about those subjects. So always read about it. And do not underestimate reading other fiction too. That's super important. Now, I have another question. What do you think? Basically with what I have already said, you understand, for example, that alternate history is basically that. It's a history, a retelling of history, taking inspiration from the real thing. And just like going into a thought exercise and thinking like what would have happened if World War II had been won by the other side? What would have happened if World War I was won by Germans? What would have happened if China just won completely the Korean War and just annexed the whole peninsula? What would have happened if the forces of the UN and company would have been able to actually repel the Chinese reinforcements? What would have happened? All of those things are our history, but retelling of history. It's a way also to cope, because we don't like the things how it went and we want to see them different. But everything is based on history. Everything is based on the vibes people feel about their present. And if you want to write about all of this, what can you take away from history? You take away from history, it's this. You can learn if you read the sources and experts on the subject, how people thought. So your characters and world will be more unique and faithful to a non-contemporary thought pattern. And that's really important to know. This is really important. If you want to create a character living in a world that is akin to the Middle Ages, you need to read about the Middle Ages. And then you can subvert that, okay? It's not that you need to copy what we did. You can actually subvert that, create your own culture, create your own way of living and all of that. But at the same time, you can have a little bit of insight if you read about the living things that live in our time. You don't want modern people living in an ancient setting, because that's just incompatible. In a violent world where everyone hates each other and uses a sword every single time they have an insult thrown at them, you can very well know that they are just going to act differently. But at the same time, if they are pacifist and they live in that era and everybody's pacifist, then the history will have been different, and you will actually have to cross-reference a lot of cultures that maybe did that in a time, or maybe you just use your imagination. But at the same time, why you are using your imagination? You're using your imagination to create the scenario that didn't exist. But in order to create a scenario that didn't exist, you need to know which one did, so you can actually create the contrary. You see, everything is history and always has been. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for the class of today about history as a source of inspiration. Remember that word, it's the most important one, inspiration. That's what is the most important thing. It's not history as a source of facts, it's history as a source of inspiration. And everything is basically history. Okay, so, Brian P., are you ready for us to read what you write? And let me give you some advice in it? You want me to do that? Tell me if you want me to do that, and I will do it. And if you want, we can actually, after this one, do another stream, maybe of Crusader Kings 2, because I really want to continue that playthrough. If you want, I'm not going to force anyone to watch that game. I know it's really niche. Okay, sure, let's go. Let's go then. Going to temporary gods. Okay. Avar is one of the prettiest deities the prettiest deity the god of war had ever laid his eyes on. Okay. His beauty transcends such things like mortal sexes and genders, so he was picked up and kept as a companion. Very well, very well, very well. He doesn't do much, mostly just lives and cuddling beside his companion, sometimes taking short walks in the winter. Lovely. Lovely so far. One night an assassin snuck in, attempting to kill him. Okay. So wait, the pretty deities. Wait, your gods are immortal? That's actually kind of cool. Because if Avery is one of the previous deity the God of War has ever laid his eyes on, that means that he is also a deity, which means that he should be immortal, unless your gods in this world aren't. Or maybe he's a lesser god, and lesser gods aren't immortal, they can actually die. Which will be actually really cool to know, actually, having a difference between lesser gods and higher gods. Higher gods are completely immortal, they cannot die by any means. Lesser gods can be killed by a knife, but cannot die of old age, for example. That would be cool, or sickness in this regard. That would be really cool indeed. Thankfully, the God of War made it back home in time, but they got into an argument, as the Lord of War had gotten tired of Avery's apathetic nature. Ooh, apathetic? Huh, interesting. Questioning if the man even cared about the relationship. Avery responded with another apathetic answer, saying that he couldn't help it, as he was never meant for complex feelings beyond the little things he ruled over. The man, feeling hurt, told the Lord of Fallen Winter Weaves, ooh, I love it, to just leave since he's so ungrateful, then stomp out of their bedroom. Love it. Okay. So far. So, Avery's apathetic. So, he doesn't do much, mostly just lives and curls up beside his companions, someday taking short walks in the winter. Very well. Maybe say that he's apathetic a little before that. Show the trouble in paradise like here. Here. Add something over in this side. Saying about this little like friction between the God of War and the God of Fallen Winter Leaves. Say a little earlier. Just a hinge, a notch, something like a little notch of something that it isn't quite right with this relationship, right? Like the God of War throwing parties or giving gifts, and the other one just like taking them but dismissively, like they don't necessarily care or something like that. That would be cool to have, but don't say the word dismissive in the beginning. Just keep it vague, like I say, something is wrong, but at the same time, it's not something that you will tell outright until the God of War in person says them that. Another thing really interesting will be if the God of War, right? If you are putting these like rules in the set, in this case, the rules that the gods, in a sense, can't help their feelings. At least, like not more meant for complex feelings beyond the little things they rule over. I don't know if this is like a general rule or only for lesser deities, but in the case of being a general rule, the God of War should be a god of really. I see. It should be like the God of War should be like a really passionate character, because if he goes to war, if he's the God of War, he should go to war because of anything and not meant harm because of it. Do you get what I mean? I see. Don't worry, Brian P. That's how people start, actually. You can start by role-playing, and then you can create your own characters, all of the roster, by yourself. Don't worry about it. In this case, the God of War should be, like, really not temperate in a sense that he gets angry easily, but in the sense of, oh, I'm in love. I'm going to fight you. I'm going to fight all your family. Or, I hate you. I'm going to kill you all. And then I'm happy. I'm going to just go around pillaging the countryside. A God of War should be that. It's the worst kind of god you can ever find, actually. Because they are tempered and they are just destructive by nature. Unless you give them a dichotomy. Unless you give them the two things to a god. If you start to create gods that have the two sides of the same coin in their name, you can actually have a more conflicting kind of god. For example, he's the god of war and peace. The other one is the god of fallen leaves and news and spring. The other one is of sprouts, new sprouts of things. If you have both of them in the same character, then you can have a little bit more of like of like a maneuverability, I will say. Because remember, these are gods. Gods in our own imagination, in our own canon, I will say, have like a lot of weight on what their god powers rest, I would say. Unless, and this is completely normal, you can have gods that are just humans with extra powers. That is fine, but that is just a little bit boring, I will say, but just a little bit. You can actually have it. If you manage to pull it off, just pull it off. But at the same time, if you just have a god of war that can love and be in temper and all of that, you just have a human that has the title of god of war. I actually have a separate pantheon exactly like that. I love it. But that is the thing, right? That's the thing. Well, let's continue. Let's continue reading, shall we? I have already ranted about gods and how I like to see them actually. Because gods are like this concept, and a concept is like, you know. So Kratos, yeah, indeed, Kratos indeed. Kratos is like Kratos is a really deep human character, and that's amazing. Something, the Big Nine, and all of them have conflicting titles, love and hate. Who's more hate than love? Indeed, all of that. Because if you have characters that are just one thing, they cannot deviate from one damn thing, and that one thing will actually be like a problem in the sense of like these deities will be actually brought to inaction. It's weird, it's complicated. When you really think about it, when you put yourself to like thinking in a theological level to a deity level, you actually get like a lot of like the cog suddenly stops. You realize that a god with only one temper in their whole arsenal is actually a character that will actually be brought to inaction, or rather than that, to a fanatic degree of action, who will actually hurt other people around them and the followers, unless the gods are separated from humanity to a point and degree where they can only affect the people who follow them, and the people who follow them actually follow their tenets, which is super cool. For example, I will say The Familiar Lands is a beautiful work of art. You can find it on Twitter. The Familiar Lands is by an artist named... what was this? I remember the name, but it has beautiful gods that they all have like this humanity, but they actually have a strong sense of what they are, and they go around looking for champions. It's really good. Familiar Lands, I will link it. Let me just look it up. Over here. I will link to you. Oh, hello Ash, welcome to the stream. Welcome. Let me just look for the Familiar Lands wiki. There we go. I think I have it over here. Yeah, here it is. Okay. The Familiar Lands is a beautiful work of fiction. I totally recommend it. It's just incredible what this artist was able to do. It's just the best vision you could English class, actually creative, creative, what to say, masterclass? I don't know. The thing is that, take that, The Familiar Lands is a beautiful work of art. It's all made by one artist, and it's just incredible. It's basically like an RPG kind of like setting, and it is just incredible. The 40 fundamentals are the gods. Creative writing class, indeed, that's the thing. Creative arts, yeah, indeed, creative arts. The 40 fundamentals in this beautiful thing are the 14 gods, and they are not only aesthetically pleasing to watch because they are incredible to look at, but they actually have like a lot of, you know, they like go around doing their own stuff and trying to like further an agenda, but at the same time they all keep checks on each other. It's really interesting, the whole thing. By the way, I love in this case, the God of Lust is my favorite, and then Chastity. Yeah, I love them both. It's complicated. Chastity is cute, okay? That were the Familiar Lands. And Lust is just Lust, and I love them. But here you have it. If you want inspirations, go to the Familiar Lands. It's beautifully crafted. Every single god, it's just incredible. Incredible world. Incredible everything. My god, how much I love the Familiar Lands. Such a great work. Jesus. Well, going back. going back. So, let's continue reading that, shall we? As every eyes flutter shut, he hears the god of war's footstep exit the chamber, and the door to the bedchamber close slowly behind him. I think if you are going to write about this, you need to actually go a lot deeper into this, okay? An assassin snuck in? Why? Who? A mortal, an immortal, a shadow, a monster, a something. And the god of war defeats them. If the god of war defeats them, he will not be thinking about, you know, how their partner is actually kind of like giving them the cold shoulder. He will be actually thinking about the assassin attempt, because if he's the god of war, he will be ready to go to war to whoever did this. It's really interesting indeed. Okay. He lies in the warm bed, his silver hair flowing over the blanket and the light of the moon illuminating his face. I love this scene. It's really interesting. That was actually the start of the role, but got it. Got it. This is a beautiful setting, indeed. The silver hair and the light of the moon, they are such a good combo. I just have it saved while writing. This is a really nice combo because silver hair, it's actually like enhanced with the silvery light of the moon. You get this really interesting way of like conveying that whole scene. It's like a painting. I love it. He sighs and closes his eyes, content with the life he has lived. Lived in the past tense. I love it. What is happening? This should be in quotations if it's the character who says. Or maybe not. Maybe I will just delete the because yeah, I know it's the side of really the side. But at the same time, it's like I don't think the narrator should say it. If the narrator says it, it's actually kind of like weird. The narrator is this being, by the way, a narrator is a being that you yourself create to tell the story. The narrator shouldn't be saying this, it should be the character. You get it? You get what I mean? So, if it is the character, it needs to be on quotations, in 2 quotes, in the sense of the English. If it was in Spanish, it will be like a dash. But in this case, it's English, so quotations. But I will just delete it. You already say that he sides, I created the sound in my head, there is no need to write it down here, in this position, okay? If you want to do it, you can move the up here. You move the up here, before the he. You put in quotations, and he sighs and closes his eyes, content with the life he has had. That's how it will be written better. Just move the if you want to keep it up before the he. So it will be quotations, and he sighs and closes his eyes, content with the life he has lived. That's how it goes. Let's continue. So the god of war had finally grown tired of his passive nature and lazy personality. Avery, sounds a lot, reads a lot like every, so I'm like every day, and I'm like, wait a minute. Avery knew a day like this will come. By the way, I will say, look for another name, maybe. I don't know what Avery means, but try to find a name that actually sounds or feels or represents in another language or even in your own or whatever. The fallen winter leaves. Think about a god needs to have a name that fits their little thing. Yeah, you understand? For example, the freaking Ares and his sons Phobos and Deimos, I believe they were names. Basically Fear and the other one I don't remember what, but every single name is actually like a feeling or a word or something like that. So I will say Avery is like a weak name. I will actually search for another one that sounds a little more peaceful or more like, let's say, quote-unquote original. Avery is like too run-of-the-mill, but having another name will be better, I believe. That's my personal opinion. If you like Avery, you can keep it. After all, you are the author. Well, one of the authors because it's a roleplay, but if you want to keep that name, you can do it. Well, let's continue. He can't help it. Temporary gods weren't even meant to live this long. See, he's a temporary god. I love that. That's great. I struggle real hard with the name. I do too, don't worry. That's something that every writer does. Temporary gods. I love temporary gods. This concept is amazing and I love it. I just read it and I love it. How will a temporary god be though? Like, what is deemed temporary and what is deemed eternal? That's something that I want to know more. Let's continue reading. Maybe you will reveal it in another moment. So, they weren't meant to be anything more than the traits associated with extreme specific yet insignificant things they rule over. Ah, got it. That's why the god of war is actually more human-esque in a sense. I like it. I like it. For him, it was the leaves under the snow 10 years ago, passively and lazily laid under the snow. You use snow 2 times, I will use another word. Because, snow used 2 times, just replace snow with a synonym or something. Warm and cozy, slowly decomposing away. Love it. He feels a little hurt being abandoned, of course, but he couldn't for too long. Temporary gods were made with that same mindset. Why bother? They are all going to fade away. Without the worshipping of the god of war, he will as well. So they need worshipping. I love this word welding. It's going great. I love it. I love it. He feels a little hurt though. If they are like, But he couldn't for too long, I know that. But it would be even better if he just doesn't feel anything, I think. Because if you're going to go for that route, that the temporary gods are like very specific, maybe they wouldn't even feel hurt by being abandoned at all. They would just be like that instant in time where they were created and nothing else. It's like a doll, like a puppet, like a painting, I will say. They are like that. That's how I will construct them, at least. The thing is that it's a little complicated to convey a character that is relatable if they can't feel anything other than the specific thing they were created for. But at the same time, it creates the sense of a puppet, of a slave, of a feeling, and that is actually compelling. It's actually kind of cool. I like it. Without the worshipping of the god of war, he will as well. Well, is the god of war worshipping though? Or acknowledging him? I don't know the word worshipping is the one you want to use here. Maybe the word you want to use is acknowledging his existence. If the god of war stop acknowledging his existence or just forget about them, they will disappear. He developed a persona a little bit since he got to live 10 years. Got it. Love is a form of worship. Got it. Okay, get it. Got it. Thank you. Well, if you want to actually do that, the fact of maybe develop a person, like as a person, you need to put this and make it more important. He feels a little hurt for being abandoned. Don't put of course. That's the thing. Don't put of course. Put this kind of about like body worship. Got it. That is the thing. Yeah, that's okay too. Don't worry about that. Those themes are normal in fantasy. The thing is this. He feels a little hurt being abandoned. That's weird. No, wait. No. That feeling, it wasn't there, was it? Something like that? Sounds even better. Because then you are presenting the anomaly. And if you present the anomaly, you can will upon that. See? It's not an of course scenario in this case, because if they cannot feel this, it's not of course. It's an anomaly. Show it as an anomaly, Brian. Show it like something weird, something that shouldn't be there. Something that everybody is kind of like, that the same character will be like confused, or maybe dismissive, but it's there, and it's weird. And if you manage to convey that to the reader, they will find out your world will get even deeper. Because there you have the anomaly. And because you have the anomaly, you have a thread. And if you have a thread, you can follow it. And you can go even deeper and deeper into the labyrinth until you found the center of it. See? That's how I will do it. Do not put of course here, change it for something else. Every hopes next year's God of Winter fallen leaves won't be so pretty that they catch anyone's eyes, and just let the cycle continue normally. So they get replaced over time. I like it. They get replaced over time though. What does a god here means? A lesser god, I believe, a temporary god. It's like something the humans create in their mind, or they just come out of nature as they are. That's a good question that probably is going to be answered in next chapter, so don't worry about that, you don't need to tell me, but the thing is that I'm planting the questions that you need to like answer in a sense. Because as long as this winter fallen leaf god is alive, will another one be created on his place? Or is it that it can only be one at a time? They just appear. Got it. It's more just weird. No, it's not weird. It's just like really carnal desire. It's something that a lot of people can relate to, actually. Like being extra pretty and everybody wants you because you're pretty and you're like, why? But nothing out of the ordinary. Yeah, indeed it is, Brian V, indeed it is. So, let's continue. With that talk, he calmly falls asleep, grateful to have gotten a chance to live so long, to be given a name and try out so many things in luxury, more than any of his peers. But perhaps it's his time to go now. Maybe the process of disappearing will be instant, maybe it will be slow. It all depends on the god of war, he supposes. Very well, very well. So... With that talk, he found me very grateful to have gotten a chance. What about instead of this? Okay. What about instead of grateful? And if he's grateful, you're interrupting glasses. No, he's not. He's the one I'm talking to. What about he's the one who write this? So. What about if instead of grateful to have gotten to live so long, he will be confused? If he knows his destiny is set in stone from the moment of birth, he will be confused. Indeed. He will be confused, and giving a name, that's actually really important in every single fantasy setting. Giving a name to something that hasn't is actually really cool. Indeed it is, and it's like a cornerstone of the whole thing. Try so many things in luxury though, I'm thinking. Because if he's a god, a temporary god that is like so specific in nature, he will not register in his mind about the luxuries. Ash, share them in the Discord. We can do this in the next class if you want. I can grab your things and give it a spin like I do it here, if you want. So try out so many things in luxury. Will he actually be acknowledging that fact? Or will he be preferring to just have living a year, living as winter went by, and just disappear? That will actually add a little bit more of like character, like thinking that he will have been better off just disappearing in the start. Yeah, totally share them. Do it, Ash, do it. And at the same time, more than any of his peers. Yeah, I'm thinking here. Because if he registers the luxury, something that he as a god of fallen leaves wouldn't even care about, you could actually say that at the beginning he was disinterested, and then he started to like grow fond of the luxuries, of a soft bed of a bed of feathers instead of a thing of leaves, or maybe he couldn't. But this is the thing, can he learn? Can he learn? That's a good question. And if he learns, does he like it? Because in this case, this is a god of nature, of really specific part of nature. So if he got like really specific part of nature, Why would the god of war not provide the luxuries in the form of a garden? Constantly in a winter trap kind of like scenario. Why didn't the god of war just create the luxury of living in an eternal winter garden? With fallen leaves that are eternal. And he just get to live there. And there he's comfortable. And there his lover, the god of war, will actually tend for him in that particular scenario, instead of having him living in a mansion, for example, or a palace in this case. He will just live in that place. Indeed, maybe for him, luxury is anything reminding of him of his thing. Like a really good bed of blankets. Indeed. See? If you put that the god of war actually created like the perfect setting for his existence and his enjoyment, then you will have something more interesting. Because you have the god actually living in his godlike scenario. And after that, you have the god of war actually caring for this person and trying to get it to the best the best kind of like life in a sense. And at the same time, the character will be learning about other beings interacting with it and learning from them. From that, maybe you can even put here a passage of when he got out of the garden out of curiosity and got into the mansion that surrounds the garden, and then there is where he actually got curious about every single trinket the god of war had, including weapons. There you have another thing really interesting that you can put there. See? I did give him blankets, I see. And then you have like a whole other story of the character like going into there. See? It's good, really good. Really good. It's really interesting, that idea. He living in a garden, because that's where he lives, and then going out of his own volition because he's living more than he should, so he's capable of slowly gaining more, let's say, a more complex soul, and maybe even a more complex like authority over the nature. My man's dead though, dead as hell, no pills for him. You can change that story. Remember, MP, everything you write can be rewritten, can be rephrased, can be recreated if you so wish for. You can create a new story from everything we're talking here today if you want to. Let's continue, shall we? Wordless, he hopes it will take as long as a dally. And so, when the sun rose, all what was left on the bed was the fancy silk robe he was given by his patron. Sorry about that. Avery had faded away the moment the god of war stopped loving him. That's sad indeed. When the next winter comes, somewhere in a snow-covered mountain, another god of winter fallen leaves is born. Listen here, this is really important. Do not use mountain here. It's not a mountain, it's a forest. Do not use mountain. Mountains do not have forest, in a sense. Get what I'm going after this, Brian P? When you think about a mountain, you think about Mount Everest, you think about something big and devoid of life. When you think about a hill, on the other hand, you can think of a forest. So you either want hills or you want a forest to be the word that replaces this one. It's not a coated mountain covered in snow. It's actually a forest covering a hill. That will be better. In a snow-coated forest, see? It's much better. It's much better, and it actually makes sense for a god of leaves to be there. Of fallen leaves to be there. So you want to actually use that. In a snow-contained forest forest hill or something like that, you need to use that. That word instead of mountain. Do not use mountain in this case. Okay, let's continue. Sombre as his silver hair absurdly long, covering his entire naked body like a cocoon, the deity sits near a pile of dead pine leaves all day, encouraging them to decompose for next spring. I love it. I love that idea. Like the deity nears a pile of dead leaves, of dead pine leaves. I would not put a specific kind of tree. It's different in my language than in English. It did. In Spanish, it's the same. We have a lot of different words for that. Like last month, ICSE. This is the thing then here. This is good. But I will not put the type of tree the leaves came from. And this is why, hear me out. If you put the type of tree, you will actually take away from the reader's imagination. So, don't put the type of tree. Just put a pile of dead leaves all day. Do not say pine, because a pine is a really specific tree that is in Europe. So you will actually immediately set the whole thing in a Mediterranean setting, in a European setting. So I would just say use dead leaves all day, leave the trees to the imagination of your public, and that will be even more beautiful for the mind, or more fluent for the mind too. The mind of the reader will actually enjoy reading a pile of dead leaves all day, instead of reading a pile of dead pine leaves all day. So I recommend you delete pine, delete the type of tree they came from, and leave the pile of leaves to the imagination of the person who's reading. Because if you do not know how a pine leaf looks like, your brain will actually go into shortcut mode. Genus Pinos of the Panacea family, indeed. But if your reader does not know how a pine looks like, hasn't ever seen a pine, for example, it's being read by someone in Egypt, for example, or someone in, I don't know, name another country that doesn't have a lot of trees, a lot of pine trees. You will have a problem there because the person will not be able to imagine those leaves. But if you put a pile of dead leaves, the imagination will just kick in and they will be able to just adapt to any kind of setting the reader is reading this. So delete pine, like I say, and leave the rest. Let's continue. Nearby is another temporary god. The god, my country, I see. Nearby is another temporary. Get those people some pine trees, damn it. Oh my god. Nearby is another temporary god, the god of these specific mountains' mushroom spores, who's about to fade away now that autumn, the season of the mushroom reproduction of this place, is about to be over. I love it. But pine looks like myself. It did, see? Do not use pine. Delete it. Leave it to the imagination. Another temporary god, the god of these specific mountains, well, hill in the forest in this case, forest mushroom spores, who will fade in autumn. Yeah, that's okay. They wave to each other, knowing that there will only be one temporary god on this mountain of this forest after the next 2 or 3 days. The nameless god of winter's fallen leaves. I think this should be in how to say, in caps? I'm not sure though. I don't know if God of Winter Fallen Leaves should be all in caps, because it's like a name. I believe it's like a specific title, so it should be in caps. I mean, God should be cap and winter and all of those. I'm not sure. Sits along next to a pile of leaves. See, here is better. To a pile of leaves. But I think this is repeating itself too much. You should change it a little. It seems that we're big. It turned out they weren't, now that I just search it up. See? See? Do not write things that you don't know of also. So if you need to know something, just look it up first and then you write it down. So, like I say, you had that idea that the leaves were big. I also have them. But then you write pine and I realized that something there wasn't clicking. So just delete the pine and leave the pile of leaves. The neighbor with the fallen leaf sits alone next to the, not a, here it should be the, because he's sitting next to the same dead leaves, next to the pile of leaves. He always wonders what life would have been for him had he been an actual god that can exist permanently. I love it. This is great. This world building is great. I love it. Anyway, we started up hunting temporary gods for collecting since they are usually really pretty and fucked up disciples. I love it. So, this is actually really good world building. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy the deities going around. I did enjoy the temporary deities, and they are really cool. I love it. It's like a gacha game in a sense. It's like, oh my god, a god so specific will spawn in this specific site I wanted. It's really interesting. And it will be really interesting too if you put that not the temporary gods necessarily, I mean not the temporary, the permanent god, and also maybe mortals hand down temporary gods, because exactly that, they look pretty, they are like a prize, they give prestige, etc, etc. That would be amazing, but they need to be kept in really particular conditions if you want them to survive. That's actually super cool too. And you can actually go even deeper. It will be this has the potential to be a really interesting either short tale or just a novel. You can create whatever you want with this. It's really cool. I really enjoy it. Thank you for sharing, Brian P. It was really interesting. A really interesting reading, and a really, really fruitful reading, because it was really inspiring too. It has a lot of inspiration. Very well done, Brian P. Like I say, you just need to maybe focus a little more on the personality and the way these gods learn and behave when they are taken out from their specific zone of, this is really interesting, a specific zone of comfort. You need to maybe delve deeper into that, and maybe delve even deeper into the fact of if these gods are actually maintained. When I say I mostly torture facts, yeah, I know, I imagine how this goes. I think you should actually tone that down a little bit, but just a little bit, and you will actually have a really, I will say, more expansive novella that you can actually sell to more people. In this case, I will say, if mortals find one of these gods, let's say a tribe or a kingdom or something, what happens if you have a whole kingdom dedicated to basically find temporary gods and keep them alive as long as they can, because they believe they are more important than the permanent gods. So they actually have this giant pantheon of different little gods, and then you have a really interesting thing to do, and it's how will this religion shape the world around them? Or is this religion just super tame in the sense that they're pacifistic, or they're all militaristic creeps that just want to destroy the permanent gods in a sense? Because someone realized that the permanent gods aren't actually permanent, they are just temporary gods, but with a lot more of expanse in their concept. But if they are collapsing the core concept of that. For example, if the god of war doesn't see any more wars because everyone made peace with each other to a degree where no conflict is anywhere, there are no more wars, no more conflict of any kind, it will just fade away into oblivion and it will die. And some mortal actually had this revelation or find out, and they are trying to dethrone the big gods and keep the little ones that are actually more tame, are more beautiful, are even more human and less disruptive. That will be it. That is a nice story, for example. If you want to put mortals into the mix, if you want to keep it to the gods only, you can do that too, and that's fine, and that's funny. And that's fun. Not fun, it's fun. And if you want to go down those paths, that's a really interesting, really niche topic, I would say, really specific for a really specific audience, you can do that too. You can become an expert on that niche topic. If you like those things, especially no safe for work, /torture, etc., you can actually do that and it will be fine. Because as artists, we all need to understand that art goes everywhere. We can do everything. And, ladies and gentlemen, remember this amazing quote, I don't remember for who, and it's it goes something like this. I'm probably paraphrasing, I'm not saying exactly how it is, but it's the sign of an illuminated mind is the fact that they can entertain a thought without accepting it. So remember that. You are not what you write in the paper. You are a human being. You might have moral codes, you might know what's right or wrong. If you write things that are quote-unquote unsavory or not morally correct, that doesn't make you what you write. And that is basically what you need to know. Okay? That's the most important thing of all. You are not what you write. And you are also not, okay, this is something important. You are also not how the people that consume your works are. Get it? In there was to begin with. Indeed, it wasn't. Do you get it? That's really important. For example, if you write a book about, let's say, a monarchy or something like that, let's say, or a dictator that is only a good dictator, let's say, like you write a book about a dictator that actually does everything right and helps his people and all of that, and suddenly you are read by the really fanatics of those set of ideologies, and they all start to preach your freaking book or novel, that is fiction by the way, like it's a freaking gospel. You are not like them. Nobody is. Nobody is. You don't know where your book will land and who will read it, but you will never be the people who read your books. Get it? So, that's something important you need to know as a writer or creative or whatever. Yeah, Kim Jong made that one. Let's say that one, or let's say another one with a mustache. Let's say, like, let's go to that front, for example. But the thing is that, you know, you are not the people who read you, and you are not what you write most of the time. You can actually write what you believe, and that will be fine. Don't worry about it. But that's it. That's basically what I wanted to say about basically writing this, about your specific genre, Brian P. That is your genre, and you're gonna love it, and you're gonna be perfect. Imagine you reading my writings. Well, ladies and gentlemen, imagine the Marquess of Sade writing something. Jesus Christ, that guy was something interesting. Sadistic came from him. Mouse down, Indeed. Well, that's amazing, isn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about this beautiful stream that we just had? Did you enjoy it? And the Little Red, yeah, the Little Red freaking book. Oh my god, the Cultural Revolution was a bane on humanity. Doesn't matter. I'm a historian, I know the freaking things he did. Well, that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, did you enjoy? This was a beautiful stream, by the way. Remember to send me your world building, everything you want, and I will just like come here and just talk about it, and maybe like you know, like say to you like, what do I think about it? How do I feel it will work better? Or even if it just works as it is, of course. 10 out of 10, thank you, Edge. So, ladies and gentlemen, I might start another stream shortly after this one. Maybe. I do not know. Let me just have 15 minutes to relax, to like think, to like, you know, like think and do other things. Maybe go upstairs, drink some water, I don't know. And then I will probably stream a little bit of Crusader Kings 3 because I really want to progress in that game. I really want to keep playing that game. It's so much fun. And well, that's it. Well, thank you very much, everyone. Fun is an understatement. Got it. Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you to the members of the channel, the 5 of you. Thank you Brian P and Satukara for being here especially. Thank you Savage and Bones for being here, Danny for being here lurking, and Ash for being able to be here. Shush peasant. Oh my god. I love this so freaking much. So, let me see something though real quick. I need to see something. Preaching about his cult, indeed. Let me see something real quick though. I want to see something real quick. Let me see if I can like... Let me see something real quick because I want to see if I can like... Let's go like that. Let me see something. This will be like cheating, but I like this idea. Let me see if I can do something like this. Or can I? Probably I can't, but maybe I can? Let me see. So it will be just like this. What happens if I do this? Let me see. Let me see what happens if I do this. What happens if I do this? Let me see. I will just do this. Because I know Ash can't buy a membership because of the country they live on. But let me see if I can maybe gift him a membership, because he has been here for a long time and he wants to support the channel. So let me see if I can actually give you a thing. Give you one of the things. If you give me a second, I want to see if I can though, because I'm not sure I can. But maybe I can. That would be fun. Let me see if I can. Like, I'm giving away this. No, for Brian. What? No. Let me see if I can. I don't know if I can. I'm completely like, this is something new. Let's see what happens. If I do this, what will happen? What the hell will happen? Can I give it to anyone? Oh my god, it did. Fun. It's the only thing I can do though. I can't give it to anyone else. I'm like, this is a present. This is a present for Ash. So he can use our emotes. Yeah, you're promoted for peasant. You can actually, you should actually, Ash, you should actually like thank everybody else who comes here. So you can thank everyone here who's watching for your promotion, I will say. Really, you can thank everybody here watching. This is the only one I'm going to gift. This is the only one I'm going to gift. I will not give another one. No more shoe shiners. I will not give another one, okay? I would probably do one of these once a month, or maybe twice, like once every 3 months, I don't know. But this is the only one I will ever do, for now. For the promotion, we're not feeding your artistry. Oh no, your artists are breaking. I love this community so much. That's the only one I will do. That was fun. So, Ash, you can now use our emotes even. Enjoy them. It will be lasting like a month, if I'm not mistaken. So it will be fun to have you here if you want to come more often. Okay, so I want to thank basically everyone for watching a lot. Thanks a lot indeed. And I'd like to thank my family for oh, love it. Oh my god. Well, what I'm going to do next though, it's going to be to create the members only post that it will be, you know, the only members post that it will be for the next topic that we're gonna talk in these classes. It will be next week though, the next class, and we're gonna do that. So I want to thank you all for the bottom of my heart for being here. This gift that we were all able to give to Ash, because like I say, he is someone who has been like in the channel for a long time actually, and they are unable to buy any kind of membership because of the country they reside. I want everyone to like, I want to thank everyone for real. I want to thank every single one of you, every single one of the members that comes to the stream, every single one of the members that participates, every single one of the members that, you know, like resigns every month to being part of the manor. I want to say thank you, thanks to all of you, and you mean the world to me. Indeed you are, you do indeed. You have no idea. This job that I currently have here, although it's not necessarily paying me by monthly basis, it's exactly what I need for my life being how it is, and happy, and being happy, and being stable. So, thank you all. Thank you all for real. I'm having a moment here, a hard moment. Thank you all of you. I'm super grateful for every single one of you. For Saturn Kara, for Brian P, who donated 2 memberships last time. For Ash, who's always coming every single time he comes. He comes here, but he has different time zones, so that's the thing. But he's amazing. Thank you. Thank you to Savage for always being here. Really, my dude, you're amazing. Really amazing. You're funny as hell, even though you freaking delete every single message that you give in Discord on everyone. You can get along with Daddy and me. And thank you for watching, because watching helps me out in the algorithm and all of that. So yeah, that's a lot. And thank you, Savage. Thank you. I knew you were canceled that message. You always do. And you're the best for that. I love you. I hear as often as possible. I know. And for a month, you have the emotes. Use them. If I'm not mistaken, you now have our emotes. So I will say, use them. I'm mad now. I give you the membership for you to use the emotes of the Luxury on your channel. Use them. Thank you, everyone. Well, my God. You should free them from the basement if you're thankful, Chev. How else would they keep working for me then? Oh my God. Yeah, that's how you do it, Ash. There we go. Well, thank you everyone. So I will probably do another stream, like I say, in maybe 15 minutes. Now, if only the mods could see the same emojis YouTube get on it. Yeah, indeed, that would be really cool. I'm actually mad that that's not the case. I'm actually really mad that that's not the case. I don't know why you cannot, though. I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna actually to see if that is a thing. It's weird. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming. Like I say, I will probably do another stream in 15 minutes. So why it's so dark indeed. So I will see you in the next stream that I don't know if I'm gonna do in 15 minutes or maybe even in the afternoon. But I want to play some Crusader Kings and I want to share the experience with all of you. So if you want to come along to that stream, if I do it, I don't know, the thing will just pop out, you will see it. So thank you very much everybody for coming again. Ash, Satumkara, Brian P, Savage, Bones, Danny, Lapis Lazuli, who's always here, who's here sometimes, and all of those. Oh, everyone! I remember. I have actually one over here that goes straight for you all. Let me look it up, because I have something here for all of you. So this is something that I have for all of you. This is a soundboard thing that I have always prepared for when I'm talking about the chat. And if you have seen Has Been Hotel, you know exactly what scene this is.
That's bullshit. You get drunk and bitch about him all the time. Everyone likes to bitch to the bartender. I know everything about you and these motherfuckers at this point.
I know everything about you and these motherfuckers at this point. I love it. So cool. God damn it. I have a lot of soundboards over here with everything. All of it. But I can't use it. Everybody likes to bitch at the bartender. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I will see you later. Bye-bye. Live out. Indeed. Well, bye-bye. That's literally me. Yeah, indeed. Savage indeed. Well, see you in the next stream if I do it. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.